A few months ago, I received a phone call that I will never forget. A woman in her late 60s was on the other end of the line, her voice shaking as she tried to explain what had happened to her husband. He was 72 years old, generally careful about his health, the kind of man who believes strongly in eating clean. That night he had gone to bed just like every other night, after what he believed was a healthy dinner. There were vegetables on his plate, plenty of them, and he felt good about the choice. But the next morning, when his wife tried to wake him, he didn't respond. He had passed away quietly in his sleep. No warning signs, no dramatic symptoms, just silence. When the family later walked me through the details of that evening, one small detail caught my attention. A single vegetable that had been a regular part of his dinners. Something most people would never suspect. In fact, many health magazines actually promote it as a heart-healthy choice. But under certain conditions, especially for older adults, that vegetable can trigger a chain reaction inside the body that increases stress on the heart while you sleep. Now let me be clear about something before we go any further. Vegetables themselves are not the enemy. They are essential for good health, and most of them protect the heart rather than harm it. But what many people don't realize is that the human body changes with age. After 60, digestion slows, blood pressure regulation becomes more sensitive, and certain foods that once caused no problems can suddenly interact with medications, circulation, or nighttime metabolism in ways we never expected. Over the years, I've seen patients who experienced sudden spikes in blood pressure at night, irregular heart rhythms during sleep, or strokes that occurred without warning while they were resting. When we examined their habits more closely, one surprising pattern appeared again and again. Many of them were eating the same vegetable in the evening, believing it was helping their heart, when in reality it may have been placing extra strain on their cardiovascular system during the most vulnerable hours of the night. And this is exactly why I decided to talk about it today. Because if you are over 55, if you take medication for blood pressure or cholesterol, or if you simply want to protect your heart and brain as you age, understanding how certain foods behave in your body overnight is incredibly important. What you eat in the evening can influence your blood pressure, your circulation, and even your heart rhythm while you sleep. What makes this even more surprising is that most people believe heart attacks happen during the day when we are stressed or physically active. But medical studies have shown that a large number of serious cardiovascular events actually happen during the night or early morning hours. While we sleep, the body goes through delicate changes in hormone levels, blood pressure, and oxygen balance. And if the wrong foods are still being processed in the body, they can quietly interfere with those processes. In this video, I'm going to show you something that may completely change the way you think about your evening meals. I'll reveal the vegetable that surprised many doctors, explain why it can become risky for certain people when eaten at night, and show you who needs to be especially careful. More importantly, I will also explain how you can continue eating vegetables safely without putting unnecessary stress on your heart. Because once you understand what happens inside the body while you sleep, the whole story begins to make sense. And the simple changes you'll learn today could help protect your heart and brain for many years to come. Type continue for the next part. Before I reveal the vegetable itself, we need to understand something that many people overlook. When we fall asleep, our bodies enter a very delicate balancing act. Blood pressure naturally drops, the heart rate slows, and the nervous system shifts into a recovery mode. This nightly reset is one of the reasons sleep is so essential for heart health. But if certain substances are still being actively processed in the bloodstream, they can quietly interfere with this natural rhythm. One of the most important factors involved is how minerals and compounds in certain vegetables interact with the body, especially in older adults. As we age, kidney efficiency often declines slightly, even in people who appear healthy. The kidneys are responsible for regulating electrolytes like potassium and sodium, which play a huge role in controlling heart rhythm and blood pressure. Some vegetables contain extremely high levels of potassium and certain natural compounds. For younger bodies, this usually isn't a problem. But for seniors who may have slower kidney function or who take medications for blood pressure, those minerals can sometimes accumulate in the bloodstream overnight. Now imagine this happening late in the evening. You eat a large portion of a vegetable that is extremely rich in potassium and nitrates. These substances enter the bloodstream and begin to affect the balance of fluids and electrolytes. In some people, this can cause sudden drops or spikes in blood pressure while they sleep. In others, it may disturb the electrical signals that control the heartbeat. Most of the time, the body manages it without issue, but in vulnerable individuals, this imbalance can trigger something much more serious. The vegetable I'm referring to is beetroot. Many people are surprised when they hear this because beetroot has gained a reputation as a superfood, often praised for improving circulation and lowering blood pressure. And in moderation. During the daytime, that can absolutely be true. But large portions of beetroot, especially late at night, can sometimes push the body too far in the opposite direction. The natural nitrates in beetroot convert into nitric oxide, which relaxes blood vessels. While that can improve circulation, it can also cause blood pressure to drop suddenly in certain individuals, particularly seniors who already take medication for hypertension. Another issue involves potassium levels. Beetroot contains a significant amount of potassium, and while potassium is essential for heart health, too much of it, especially if the kidneys cannot remove it efficiently, can disturb the heart's electrical rhythm. This condition, known medically as electrolyte imbalance, is something cardiologists watch closely in older patients. Even small shifts in potassium levels can sometimes lead to irregular heartbeats during the night. Over the years, I've spoken with many families who were shocked to learn that a healthy meal may have played a role in a nighttime medical emergency. In several cases, the person had eaten a heavy dinner filled with foods known for lowering blood pressure or altering electrolyte balance, including large servings of beetroot or beetroot juice. Combined with blood pressure medications, the effect became much stronger than expected. This doesn't mean beetroot is dangerous for everyone. Far from it. Many people benefit from its nutrients when it's eaten in reasonable amounts and at the right time of day. The real problem appears when people assume that if something is healthy, more of it must be even better. For seniors especially, that assumption can sometimes lead to unintended consequences. Another myth I often hear is that vegetables can never trigger heart issues because they are natural. But the truth is that nature is powerful. Plants contain strong biological compounds that interact with our bodies in complex ways. Some lower blood pressure, some thin the blood, and some influence the balance of minerals that control heart rhythm. When those effects combine with medications or age-related changes in metabolism, the result can occasionally become risky. And this brings us to a very important question. If certain vegetables like beetroot can sometimes cause problems at night, how can you still enjoy healthy foods without putting your heart at risk while you sleep? Because the goal is not fear. The goal is understanding. When you know how the body responds, you can make small adjustments that keep all the benefits while avoiding the hidden dangers. In the next part, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. I'll explain the safest way for seniors to eat vegetables like beetroot, the common mistakes people make with evening meals, and the simple daily habits that cardiologists recommend to keep your heart stable throughout the night. Now the good news is this. You do not need to eliminate healthy vegetables from your life. In fact, doing that would create an entirely different set of health problems. The real goal is balance, timing, and understanding how your body responds as it ages. Once you understand a few simple principles, you can continue eating nutritious foods while protecting your heart during the hours when your body is most vulnerable. The first and most important habit is paying attention to timing. Many cardiologists recommend that heavier or highly active foods be eaten earlier in the day rather than late at night. Vegetables like beetroot, which influence blood pressure and circulation, are generally much safer when consumed during lunch or earlier in the afternoon. By the time you go to bed, the body has already processed most of those compounds, and the cardiovascular system can enter sleep mode without sudden chemical changes happening in the bloodstream. Another important factor is portion size something that surprises many people. A small serving of beetroot in a salad is very different from drinking a large glass of concentrated beetroot juice or eating a full bowl of roasted beets at dinner. Juicing in particular removes fiber and concentrates the active compounds, which means the body absorbs them very quickly. For a senior who already takes medication for blood pressure or heart rhythm, that sudden effect can sometimes be too strong, especially close to bedtime. Hydration also plays a quiet but powerful role. Many older adults unknowingly become slightly dehydrated in the evening because they try to drink less water to avoid nighttime bathroom trips. But dehydration thickens the blood and makes the heart work harder. When this combines with foods that change blood vessel dilation or electrolyte balance, the stress on the cardiovascular system can increase during sleep. A moderate amount of water earlier in the evening can help the body maintain stable circulation. There's also a simple guideline I often share with patients. Keep evening meals lighter and calmer for the body. Instead of large portions of strong or concentrated foods, focus on gentle options that digest easily. Cooked vegetables, modest protein, and smaller portions allow the digestive system to finish its work before sleep begins. This gives the heart and nervous system the quiet environment they need to regulate blood pressure overnight. Another mistake I see frequently is the assumption that combining many healthy foods together automatically creates a healthier meal. Sometimes the opposite happens. For example, a dinner that includes beetroot, spinach, high-potassium foods, and certain supplements can create a surprisingly high electrolyte load for the body. For someone with perfectly functioning kidneys, that may not matter. But for older adults with slower metabolism or medication interactions, it can occasionally tip the balance. It's also important to talk with your doctor if you take medications for blood pressure, heart rhythm, or kidney health. Some medications already influence potassium levels or blood vessel dilation. When powerful foods with similar effects are added in large amounts, the combined impact can become stronger than expected. A simple conversation with a healthcare professional can often prevent problems before they ever occur. The most reassuring thing I can tell you is that protecting your heart at night usually does not require dramatic changes. Small, thoughtful adjustments, eating certain foods earlier in the day, avoiding very large evening portions, staying properly hydrated, and keeping dinners lighter can make a remarkable difference in how stable your cardiovascular system remains during sleep. In the final part of this video, I want to share something even more important. Because the story I mentioned at the beginning is not really about a single vegetable. It's about how small daily habits can quietly shape our health over many years. I'll leave you with a message that every person over 50 should hear, and a simple way to protect your heart while still enjoying the foods you love. When I think back to the phone call I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I often remember the emotion in that woman's voice. She kept repeating the same sentence. He was trying to be healthy, and that sentence stayed with me because it reflects something so many people experience. We try to make good choices, we follow advice we hear about healthy foods, and we believe we're doing the right thing for our bodies. But health is rarely about a single food. It's about understanding how our bodies change over time and learning how to adapt our habits as we grow older. The truth is that the human body at 70 is not the same as it was at 30. Digestion slows, kidneys work a little differently, medications interact with nutrients, and the heart becomes more sensitive to shifts in blood pressure and mineral balance. None of this means the body is weak. It simply means it deserves a little more awareness and care. The story we discussed today is not meant to create fear around vegetables like beetroot. In fact, for many people they remain a wonderful source of nutrients. What matters is knowing when and how to enjoy them safely. Eating balanced portions, choosing the right timing during the day, and avoiding extremely heavy meals before bedtime can make a huge difference in how your heart behaves during the night. Many doctors quietly agree on one principle that rarely gets enough attention. The hours when we sleep are some of the most delicate hours for the cardiovascular system. Blood pressure shifts, breathing patterns change, and the body performs deep repair work. When we support that process with calm evening habits, lighter meals, steady hydration, and balanced nutrition, we give the heart the peaceful environment it needs to rest and recover. And the encouraging news is that protecting your heart doesn't require complicated diets or extreme restrictions. Often it's the small decisions made every day that matter the most. Eating a little earlier. Keeping dinner moderate instead of heavy. Paying attention to how certain foods make you feel. These simple habits can quietly reduce the strain on your heart year after year. If you are watching this and you are over 50 or 60, I want you to remember something very important. Your body still has an incredible ability to protect and heal itself when you give it the right conditions. Every healthy choice you make today, no matter how small, can help support your heart, your brain, and your overall well-being for many years ahead. And that is really the message I hope you take away from this video. Awareness is powerful. When we understand how our daily habits affect our bodies, we gain the ability to protect ourselves and the people we love. If this information helped you see your evening meals in a new way, take a moment to share your thoughts in the comments. I always enjoy hearing what viewers notice about their own habits and experiences. And if you found this video helpful, please consider liking it and subscribing to the channel so you don't miss future discussions about simple ways to protect your health as you age. Thank you for spending this time with me, and most importantly, take good care of your heart tonight and every night.